y'all. I got another one. Got Charleston White on an Anton Daniels interview. Talks about the current mind state of black people. And Texas is a felony friendly state. Let's cut this. It's fair use, fair use. Let's go.
I like Dallas better than I like Houston, to be honest with you.
You're a conservative guy.
Yeah.
Who's very reserved.
Absolutely.
Houston has a lot of billionaires, a lot of millionaires. Dallas has a lot of millionaires and billionaires. Shout out to the Waltons. Ross Perot Jr. The Joneses. I can go on and on. But yeah, I think as far as a guy of your caliber, I see Dallas being your pick over Houston.
You know, the interesting thing about it is that like when we was kicking it and we was on the rooftop and we was talking, you know, when me and you get together, we actually vibe, we celebrate, we talk about different things. And a lot of times we even have to stop ourselves because we start to get into different conversations that we probably don't talk about on camera. But you were saying that gentrification is a good thing. And even in this area, because this is my first time in Dallas, that everything is completely changed around here.
Yeah.
You know, as far as even you being familiar with the things that was going on that wasn't so savvy, you know, at another time.
And shout out to the mayor. They got a young black mayor that's making international connections around the world. That's just getting people to come here. Shout out to our governor.
Now, before we continue, here's my idea of the whole idea of gentrification, because that's going on in my city here in Memphis, and it's making a difference. For one, if you're familiar, for those of you from Memphis watching this, y'all are familiar with the Foot Homes area, not too far from downtown. Most of you probably remember what it used to look like. It was just a bunch of brick buildings, housing projects, but now it's an entirely new neighborhood with townhomes and apartments, and it looks 300 times better than what it used to. And they did give the people who used to live there an opportunity. I think it's under equal housing, but I don't have an issue with gentrification. If you're not if you live in a lower income area, and most people aren't even taking care of those areas, at least from what I've seen. Now there could be some exceptions out there. It is what it is. Most people don't really take care of that area, which is what lowers the value of that area. And that's when investors are going to come in and then scoop up that area for a low price because, no one else is buying it. And of course, they're going to wipe out all the old homes and old buildings that no one even cares to fix anymore and put brand new everything over there to make it look livable again.
He get a lot of flack, but Texas is a state that attracts corporation and businesses.
Yeah.
It's a great incentive to bring a business to the state of Texas because of the tax write-off, the tax incentives. Between Dallas and Houston, and just around Texas, West Texas, South Texas, Texas is a felony friendly state. You can work for Lockheed Martin
as a felon.
Yeah, as a felon. You can work for General Motors. You can work for the county. You can work for the city. Frito-Lay, Dr. Pepper. Man, you can get great jobs out here. And the reason why Texas,
and that's dope. That people can still have opportunities to, regain some, get their finances back in order by working these good jobs until they get back on their feet, even if they committed a felony. That's what's up.
This is a felony-friendly state, is because just for a corporation or a business to hire not just a felon, but someone who gets a TANF, someone who gets disability, to hire a military veteran, to hire someone who's been convicted of a crime, there's almost a $20,000 tax write-off for that, for each individual.
That's insane.
Okay, yeah, that's what's up. I personally did not know that about the state of Texas. That's dope. I ain't gonna lie.
That is absolutely insane.
And then if you,
insane in a good way though.
Yeah, but then if you take that on top of the fact that you train them, that's another incentive. So that's why you see a lot of reentry programs, prison reentry program that's focused on training. That's why you see a lot of temporary employment agencies that's focused on training. A lot of nonprofits come to the community and try to offer training. That's why you see a lot of community programs offer forklift training, CDL training, because the government, not just the federal government or the Department of Labor, but your state government has a lot of incentives for that. So if black people created more businesses and hired more black people with records, they can also too tap into that economic incentive.
I don't know if that's gonna pop off though.
It don't make sense to them though.
Yeah, well, the one.
Yeah, I agree with Anton on that. Like something like that can be very foreign to a lot of black people because a lot of black folks are used to, punch the clock, getting up, going to work, punch the clock, get out, punch the clock, go home. I'm not saying there's no black-owned businesses that exist. There's quite a few here in Memphis. That, I'm not gonna lie. There's a pretty good amount here in Memphis, but I don't know if Tennessee has those same what they just said here in the video. I don't know if Tennessee has that, but let's just say they do for argument's sake. That would be great because then they can hire more. Then more people. That could be better for the economy since more people are in employment.
One of the things is that it just always seems like black people in a lot of instances, they don't want to work.
Well, you ain't lying. Now,
They don't want to
if
work.
you said that, they gonna say, man, you talking down on black people, you talking against black people. If white people said that, they'll say you're racist. But
you really can't win for pointing that out because either way you're gonna lose. Whether you're black, white, blue, green, doesn't matter. That's a true fact that they just pointed out, and either way, you're not going to win by pointing that out. They're not going to wake up and be like, or when I say they, I mean black people are going to really wake up and be like, oh, you know what? They're right. Let's make a change. I at least don't see that happening in my lifetime on a large scale. Maybe on a small scale, but a large one, not really.
The statistics and the number says that.
Well, me as a person that's opened up multiple businesses and I have a lot of people that work for me, even today, the biggest problem that I have specifically when I'm opening up a business where I'm making an investment, right? And I'm even putting $1 million over the next 2 years into my own city, right? Instead of leaving, I'm deciding to put it into my own city. The biggest obstacle that we have, both Rita and I, my wife, is when we opening up a business, we're trying to evaluate whether or not we can actually find somebody that can work. You know what I'm saying? Because it's very difficult to hire somebody that actually want to come to work every day. And if they're not sitting at home or they, you can't find them, get them to do something where they stand at home and doing it or something like that.
Even standing hard. It takes
because like over the last year and a half, 2 years when they give out these stimulus checks and then people can just draw unemployment. I don't know if they can still do that. I really don't know. But let's say they can. That doesn't really give them the incentive to get up and go to work every day because they figured, if I'm making all this money, just drawing unemployment, what's the point of me going back to punching the clock where they figured, hey, I might make less, So yeah, it's going to be rough for anyone who wants to start a business and hire people because people still don't feel the need to get up and go to work. A lot of people just don't want, they're talking about black people specifically, but they just really don't have that mindset of like, hey, let's get up, let's go work, let's get this economy back rolling. Like, nah. People aren't really thinking about that. Instead, they just want to draw a check for doing nothing, and that lowers the value of money.
Certain kind of person to work from home and be effective and be a great valued employee at home as compared to being in the office, right?
Yeah.
Most people have to be in need to be micromanaged.
Yep.
Most people have to be in need to be micromanaged.
That's facts.
Most people don't have the honor system. I ain't gonna say that. On the job, very people do what's right for the company, and on the best interest for the company when nobody's not looking. So I understand what you're saying, and if you look at what happened during the pandemic, just right here in Texas, man, there was some people getting by the time they filed for unemployment, and they went through the unemployment process, in the back pay, and what they was giving out weekly during the pandemic. So they were giving out money to the unemployment system. Man, people was getting $17,000, $20,000 in 3 or 4 weeks. and had never touched that kind of money had they not been selling drugs at one time. So a lot of people were incentivized by seeing their neighbors or their friends getting this kind of money. So they quit their goddamn job.
I mean, if you're getting that kind of money from unemployment, like, it'll kill any motivation you have to go back and sign up for another job, because like Charleston just said, if you are getting 20 G's within 3 to 4 weeks, it's like, and you've never had that type of money at once in your lap, right there in front of you, you're gonna be like, man, why am I even going to work? Why? I can just draw this and be good to go.
And they sat around, they got that money as long as they could get that money. And they never had a desire to try to find another job because they was being given free money. They didn't want to work.
Yeah. So
there was a time when we said, okay, it's safe to come back to work, everybody. People weren't going back to work.
Mm-hmm.
No.
So our Republicans, our congressmen, our state legislation started to say, hey, man, we need to cut this shit. Hey, man, we need to cut this food. Hey, no more. We ain't passing. No more extension, man. Fuck this shit. We need to cut this because it made American workers lazy.
Yeah.
And if you focus on our culture, homie, I don't work plenty warehouse job, man. I see motherfuckers don't want to work.
Another good video, but here are my final thoughts. Like, I understand a lot what they were trying to explain here in the video. During the pandemic, when we had a lot of people drawing unemployment and getting stimulus checks on top of that, a lot of people's desires to work have gone down because they figured, oh my goodness, all I have to do is draw unemployment week after week after week after week, boom, and I'm good to go. And I'm practically doing nothing. I had people I used to work with during that time. This is when I first started doing like Uber Eats. It was my full-time job, and everybody had to stay at home. I've had ex-coworkers I ran into tell me, like, yo, I've made more money drawing unemployment than I ever did working 40 plus hours a week at this job, that job, this job. And it's like, they're just looking at like, why would I even go back if I could just draw this for doing nothing? Like, that's the dream for a lot of like people who are real lazy and don't want to work. So for the government to lift all these regulations and then tell people, okay, it's cool to go back to work. The people who are drawing unemployment, they're going to look at this and be like, I could go back to work now, but I'm still making more money just drawing unemployment and not working. And that's when the value of money like diminishes because there's no work being put behind it to earn that. It's just being given to people for doing nothing, and then people end up not valuing money as much as like, oh, I can just draw more next week, I'll be good. Da 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 da. Anyways, that's all I got to say about this. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.